Okay, wrong share. Okay, let's try that share.
There you go.
That looks like it.
Oh, I see it.
Yay, here we go, folks.
Good job.
Technology is a wonderful thing. Okay, the light list is published every week. It's PDF. We are District 7, we are Volume 3, Atlantic and Gulf Coasts. We're going to look at a few pages that are very important. If you will notice on this, we are Atlantic Volume 3, lower right-hand side. The second page in this is very informative. It talks a lot about aids to navigation, and it gives you, on the charts, you'll see a variety of different designations for them, and this breaks it down to a certain extent. So it's come in very handy. Then if you want to play with something, the next 3 pages, which you can also find in our little aids to navigation booklet that some of you may have, but it shows you what the lights are like during the day, what the lights are like at night, and how you would traverse this particular area. And that's Western Rivers, we don't need that, okay. And I would prefer not to do that part. That's responsible for a few gray hairs on my head. Okay, you will find that on page 1, we have South Carolina, and if you look down further under bays, rivers, and harbors, we also have Charleston Harbor, which is on page 27. However, we have a ton of pages before you get to the numbered pages. Down here, you have some, that you see the 7th district at the top of the screen. Those are contact information numbers for the 7th district. Also, it gives you the locations and the phone numbers for the ANT team. ANT team is Aids to Navigation. If you're out on the waterway and you see a missing aid or an aid that's been damaged or a buoy that's just floating with nothing attached to it, you could call the ANT team in Charleston with the telephone number that's on the screen there, and they would respond. There is really a lot of information on this, but we're gonna scoot by most of it. Oh, I do want to talk about local notice to mariners, which I'm also going to highlight in a few minutes. If you have a boat of any kind, if you're going out on the water, you can subscribe, anybody can subscribe to it, but the local notice to mariners is extremely important. We're on week 14 or 15, and I'm going to pop that up in a minute. That tells you what's going on in the area. It also tells you if there's any type of problem, if any of the aids to navigation are off station, which is a really good thing to know. And we'll get to that when we get to the local notice to mariners, but it'll come auto, if you subscribe to it, it will come automatically on your email every week. I just got mine for this week today. We'll get there. Here we go. Also, in this light list, you have once again the abbreviations for the characteristics of lights, sounds, etc. Some of these we've got showing up right now in our own AOR. The TRUB, which is on the right-hand side, almost all the way down, temporarily replaced by unlighted buoy. Unlighted is the real keynote here, and that's particularly around where they're dredging right now. We've got a whole bunch of aids to navigation that are off station. So if you look for them on the chart, they're not going to be where the chart tells you that they are, because they have been temporarily moved. 36. Okay, here we've got a glossary of terms, which is also extremely important. Once again, another way of showing the lights: fixed occulting, single occulting, group occulting, very important. If you don't know where you are, you really need to do counting if you're looking at a flashing light, because that will be a big help to you in locating where you are in the chart, especially if it's pitch dark night. Okie dokie, here we go. We're going to go, this is our particular area, area 3, goes from Little River, which if any of you travel north on 17, you know that that is just north of Myrtle Beach. It's basically the South Carolina border. And if we go down here, we're going to find right at the bottom of this, let's go to the next page. There's the Winyah entrance to the Isle of Palms. It gives the locations, and it will tell you something about them that you might not know, but it does also give you the physical location that you could plot on the chart, so you could check that if you were unsure. Here's Charleston Harbor and approaches. It gives you a lot of characteristics. Yesterday we talked about, day before yesterday, about the Charleston light, the height, etc. If you look at the Charleston light, you see there's the Charleston light. It gives you the lat and lon. It tells you it's flashing. It's 2 different flashes. It gives you the height. It describes that it's triangular tower, top half black, lower half white. I think that's it, except for one more thing on page 65, and then we will be done with this particular volume. As you can tell, there's a heck of a lot of information in here. Let's get down here, not yet.
The importance for people to know, though, is the ability to reference this, to be able to use the item versus remembering exactly where everything is, except knowing the structure and knowing the big important components that Susan are highlighting. So focus on the PQS, and there's no expectation that you would have mastered and read the 542-page slide list.
This is true. However, we are on this particular page. We go into chart 11.528, which is the Charleston entrance. We use 11.524 the other night. This 11.528. Once again, it gives you all the characteristics of the lights, including the Fort Sumter range. If you look down at the Fort Sumter range, you'll notice it doesn't give you, it gives you 2, it's quick flashing and it's white, okay? When you're coming in from the ocean, you have 2 white ranges. Then you have a green range, and then you have a red range just to get into the harbor. It's truly a fascinating place. Okay, this once again was the light list, and you can download it very easily on your computer and just keep it, or just check on it when you need it. Okay, next we're going to talk about Coast Pilot. The Coast Pilot is very useful, especially if you're going to be going up and down the coast at all, because it gives you a lot of information about the general area. If you're taking the ICW, you're going up to Georgetown, or you're going down towards Savannah, it'll tell you where you can get gas. It'll describe the marinas. It'll talk about boat ramps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this, once again, is the Atlantic coast, and this is a much bigger area, Cape Henry, Virginia, so you have to really scoot through it. And you'll see here that we are in area number 6, just at the borderline. Okay. Okay, here we have the table of contents. And you will see that we are in Chapter 6, Cape Fear to Charleston Harbor, and then going on down 7, Charleston Harbor to Savannah River. So we would start on page 251 of 474 pages. However, not only are the pages themselves important, but you get some very important things toward the back of the book. There are only 2 more things we're going to look at here. We're going to go to page 273. See where we are. Ooh, we're getting close. Oops, we got too close. Don't want to go to Port Royal right now. Okay, let's look at this here. For example, it talks about the Stoner River. That's just south of us. It talks about a marina on the Stoner River, on the west side of the Stoner River, just north of the highway bridge, berths with electricity, gas, diesel fuel, et cetera, et cetera. It gives you the depth. It also, on the right-hand side, talks about the current, which is extremely important. Right down to the bottom, under current, it says predicted currents for the North Edisto River entrance may be obtained from the tidal current tables. I have the tidal current tables printed out, and the North Edisto River has the strongest current of anything in our AOR. At the height of ebb, the current flow is 3.7 knots an hour, which is significant. And that's something you need to know, especially if you're in a sailboat where you have a motor that doesn't have a heck of a lot of power to it. Okie doke. Now we're going to go out of this. Okay, I've got local notice to mariners up here, so let's do that next, please. The local notice to mariners comes out every week. This is week 14 in 2020. We are in District 7. It once again goes from Little River down into Florida. But fortunately, we're at the top of the list on this one, so it's not quite difficult. This is a very, very important document, and I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the local notice to mariners. We're only going to talk about 2 pages in this. Once again, you've got all kind of information blocks here. But I want page 6. It's page 6. Discrepancies. Okay, here we go. If we go down to this page here, number 2385, the Fort Sumter Range, there is reduced intensity of the first light, which was reported, if you look all the way over, on just last week. okay? The Bennis Fort range front light, also right under it, has decreased intensity. The Horse Reach range front light has been extinguished. That's kind of nice to know. Charleston Harbor North Channel buoy 38 is off station and the light is extinguished. These are the kind of things you really need to know about if you're going to be out fooling around in the bay at night. If you will notice, then we have Hog Island, which is also off station. And then we get a whole series of temporary unlit buoy, TRUB. This is the kind of information that you need to know if you're going to be safe on the water at night. So once again, I'm saying this is an extremely important document. There's also some information on page 44, but we're going to leave this one too. I need to go back and pick up one more. And that would be, oh, the NOAA tide tables. Okie dokie, here we go.
Are you using the share again?
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. Okay, here, this is taking out my full screen, so.
You need to go back to Zoom and go to the share, and then it will find whatever file you have open. Don't worry about how it takes up the screen.
Okay. If I get kicked out of Zoom again, I'm going to be extremely irritated. Okay, here we go. Oh dear, I was afraid of that. This is an HTML document. It's not going to show.
Yeah, it is. It's not. Don't worry. PDF or HTML doesn't matter what you have open. So go to share.
I did go to share and it told me it wasn't going to open. Aha. Screen sharing has failed to start. The window you selected is invalid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
All right. So give everybody an instruction of where to go, I guess. That's the secondary option. Or people will do it via the mentors. It's whichever way.
I would go on to look up under Google under NOAA tides and currents. And when you pop up on that screen, the second screen that you'll see on there will have geographic areas. You click on to South Carolina, and then on the left-hand side, you would type in, they'll say, what are you looking for? And the answer is Charleston. You type that in, and it'll give you the information for that day.
All right. So I'm right there. So walk me through it.
Okay, get rid of, can you get rid of us?
Okay. Go ahead.
Because we're in the way.
Well, you have to minimize it. I don't have that.
This?
Don't worry about it, Susan. That's just on your screen.
It's only on your screen.
Well, yes, unfortunately, I can't see. Click on South Carolina, or you can go over to the left where it says search station.
South Carolina.
Yeah, and you would type in Charleston. It'll give you several Charlestons, and then you choose the South Carolina one. Okay, there you go. Now click on the red and yellow lollipop. There you go. Okay, and that gives you not only the tides for today, but it also gives you the temperature, the winds, et cetera, et cetera. So see, this is a very useful. We have three stations in the Charleston area. the Ravenel Bridge, the Don Holt Bridge, and the Cooper River entrance. So, and that concludes. Does anyone have any questions about anything on 0302? You need to pull these things up and mess around with them a little bit if you're going to be asked to interpret them when we get ready to check you off.
Heather has a question. Actually, no, Mike. Sorry, Mike.
Okay, Heather is saying wind is very important. Learning about the wind that day, I agree.
So people can type in Charleston Harbor weather report if you were to go, and it will give you a mariner's report as published by NOAA, and it will give you, I think, 5 days out, and it will give you morning, evening, any possible changes in weather.
Anybody else?
Okay, Walter, you are now on. I'm going to go ahead and make you the speaker.
Get rid of me and put him on.
All right, folks. The only topic that we have left is net operations. And they're specifically talking about radio networks. And even more specifically than that, they're usually talking about high frequency radio networks, which are not the kind of radios we have on the boat. It's the kind of stuff you used to have on larger boats. The antennas are a lot longer, and the range that you can transmit and receive across is also a lot longer, but the quality is not as good as what we're used to with VHF handhelds and 25-watt units. So I've never been in a Coast Guard radio net. I don't know that they have them around here. There are some in Florida, but these are generally radio specialists that are practicing by talking long distance to other auxiliary radio specialists. We will occasionally try and put together a VHF network, which would be on the Marine Band channels. VHF channels are going to be much lower frequencies than what we're working on, and it requires equipment that's a lot more expensive and a lot more power involved, and the radios themselves are physically a lot larger. It's not anything you'd want to try and carry by hand. But instead of that, we've got an opportunity here to pretend we're doing a radio network, because we're all on a common carrier voice channel right now via this Zoom app. So I'm going to talk for a second about networks and network operations, and then we're going to simulate a network by doing a directed network with roll call and check-in. So as far as the types of networks, the reading documentation that is in Appendix E of your PQS mentions 5 of them. An administrative or coordination net. That's a net established for administrative purposes, allowing one part of an organization to talk with another one. We have something similar to this Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the command center at Sector Charleston. It is a combination video and audio network where some of the people are there in person and some people are online with access to a slideshow, and some people are audio only, which is what I'm usually doing in terms of briefing the command center on what our auxiliary surface and flight operations are like, or what we have planned during the next operating period. Second type of network I mentioned is a contingency or emergency net. The net primarily established to handle emergency communications and control functional and/or emergency traffic. If we had a storm take out some of the towers, we might try and whip one of those up in a hurry. That's happened most notably in St. Pete last year. They had a whole string of towers go down. We've done it one at a time up here just to cover for outages when the towers were taken down for maintenance. We have a training net, which is what we're doing here tonight. They've got a catch-all specialty net, something established for a purpose other than administration or any of the other reasons. And finally, a tactical net primarily established to meet requirements for a single event or emergency point-to-point communications. You could almost imagine something like the bridge run if we had 4 or 5 boats out with a PATCOM in charge. That would be as close as we're going to get to a tactical net. So that said and done, I'm going to declare myself NECOS, which is the net control station. You can call me NECOS, or you can call me NetCom or net control. Either way, I'm going to put a radio log up on the screen, and I'm going to call the roll, ask you whether you're on the net, what your health status is, just good or bad is fine, and what your location is. We will proceed in the order, hopefully, that you're seeing now. And when your name's called, you need to unmute and provide the information requested. So first up, we've got Ed Gerhardt. Go.
Control, this is Ed Gerhardt.
Roger Gerhardt, what is your health status? Good or bad?
Health status is good. Time is 1934. Location is in the office in North Charleston. I have no traffic. Over.
I didn't ask for traffic yet, but thank you. All right, next up, Joe Ego, are you on the net?
I don't see Joe.
Nothing heard, moving on. I only want to hear from the station I'm calling. Don Jalops, are you on the net?
Yes, I am.
All right, I record that as 1934. Your status
Good.
and your location.
Guadalcanal Street, Goose Creek.
If I just put Guadalcanal, that should be good.
I'm on the net.
John Frassinito, are you on the net?
Yes, I am.
Okay. What is your status?
1935. Status good. Location Allendore.
Hey, you guys get to see what a terrible typist I really am. Thanks, John. Nick Feliciano, are you on? Second call for Nick Feliciano. Kathy Pascal, are you on the net tonight?
Yes.
Good. I've recorded you at 1936. What's your status, please?
Status is good.
And your location?
Kettle Lane.
Spell that phonetically, please.
Spell it phonetically? Oh.
Yes. I didn't understand you. You're coming in broken.
That's Kettle.
No.
We're looking for the phonetic alphabet here.
All right.
Kilo Echo,
Okay, hold on.
Tango Tango, Lima
It's
Echo.
not quesadilla, I know. Okay, yes, that is Kilo, Echo, Tango, Tango. Okay. Lima, Echo.
Kilo, Echo, Tango, Tango, Lima, Echo. Very good. Mike Pascal, are you on the net tonight?
Yes, I am.
It is 1937. I've recorded you present. What's your status, sir?
Status is good.
And your location?
Monhegan Way,
Spell that, please.
Mike, Oscar, N, November, Hotel, Edgar, Golf, Alpha,
Edgar?
Echo.
November.
Echo, not Edgar.
Sorry.
No problem. We'll all get there.
Whiskey, Alpha, Yankee.
Oh, man.
John Swank, are you on the net tonight?
I'm on the net at 1938. Status is good. Location is my house in Mount Pleasant.
Bill Garvey, are you on the net tonight?
Net control, Bill Garvey here.
Good. What time is it?
Got 1938.
How are you feeling tonight?
Hungry and thirsty.
And what's your location? Edge of America?
Papa Echo Alpha Sierra, India Sierra Lima Alpha November Delta.
Wait a second. I thought we talked to you the other night to only go as fast as the guy you were talking to could write.
That's right. India.
Papa Echo Alpha Sierra.
Now, space. India.
Frontier.
Sierra. Lima. Alpha. November Delta.
Copy. Peace Island.
Yep. Affirmative.
Thank you. Heather Hickey, are you on the net tonight?
Yes, sir.
And what time is it?
1940.
Good girl.
Your health
Great.
and your location.
Mount Pleasant.
Spell pleasant for me, please.
Papa Lima Echo Alpha
Walter.
Sierra Alpha November Tango.
Excellent. All right, this ought to be fun. Joe Greenleaf, are you on the net tonight?
Roger, net control.
See, somebody finally got it right. Thank you. What time is it in Tennessee?
1941.
How are you feeling tonight?
Good.
And your location, sir?
I'm on top of a mountain in East Tennessee.
Thank you. Chad Rogers, are you on the net tonight?
Roger.
What time is it where you are?
1941.
Your health?
Fat.
I'm not going to put that down. Your location?
In the stage now.
Repeat.
In the valley of East Tennessee.
Jim Ramsey, are you on the net tonight? Brad Kerr, are you on the net tonight? Will Smith, are you on the net tonight?
Yes, I am, Walter. Can you hear me?
Yes. What time is it?
Excellent. We said 1942 at my time, Walter.
Very good. How you feeling?
Better than deserved.
Okay. And your location?
North Charleston. No shootings at the present time.
Spell Charleston for me, Will.
CHS, Walter.
I want that phonetically.
Oh, that'd be, let's see, oh my gosh. I know hotel, in Sierra. Charleston, oh, come on, give me the C.
You got the C. Oh.
Charlie Hotel Sierra, come on. Would that be right?
Charlie Hotel Alpha.
Alpha Romeo.
No, S, North CHS is how you
Can you?
pronounce North Charleston. It would be Charlie Hotel Sierra. Needs work. We'll go with that.
Beautiful.
Lugalier, are you on the net tonight? Nothing heard. Okay, that completes the roll call. Does anybody have any traffic for net control or any other stations?
Negative.
Negative.
Is Bill Garvey negative?
Heather Hickey, negative.
John
Will
Fred,
Smith,
Okay.
negative.
No traffic heard. I'm going to secure this net for tonight. We'll meet again somewhere down the road. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's how a directed net would sound. If you were on the radio, probably a little bit more formal. And we did have some people jumping in on top of a conversation that had been directed by net control. You really don't want to do that on the radio. So here we've got the luxury of duplex communication where more than one voice can be heard at the same time. In a VHF radio environment, you do not. So if you speak up, you're going to step on the other person. And if the other person is the one that the net control needs to be hearing, you really don't want to jump in. I know it's a different environment and we're having a good time, but bear in mind, if you're in a real directed net, that's unacceptable behavior, okay? So do we have any questions about networks? You're liable to spend a fair amount of time in the auxiliary and never have to deal with one. They are talking about some exercises in D7. We had one scheduled for the middle of March and it got whacked by the virus shutdown stuff. So if there's no questions, I'm going to turn it back to David and we'll wrap up with some administrative remarks. If you do have a question, you want to raise your hand, there's a little thing at the bottom of the screen, I think.
I can't type that fast. My question to you, do you hold monthly AuxNet meetings down in District 7?
There are radio networks, but they're primarily high frequency. So these are guys with big base stations at their houses, and I'm not in that world. I don't deal with them.
Okay.
Okay. So what I like to do is I'm going to allow people to break into something called, and not to confuse folks, we have the option of having breakout rooms. What's going to happen is I will send you an invitation and I'm going to designate. Now, I don't see Mike Young. Mike Young, are you here? Oh, you are. Okay, good. So we have Mike Young, Walter Runck, and Susan. All of you are the designated four mentors for mentees. But before we do that, I'd like to bring you to attention of page 224 of the PQS. And there is a quiz. So let's see if we can work together and have people take turns. So if I could possibly have individuals replying and then answering the questions. So let's go on to number one. The time proven trust I'm sorry, the time-proven trust the Marian public faces in the Coast Guard provides the watchfinder with tremendous what? The trust that's put in by the public, the Coast Guard. What would be the answer to the first question? They put what? Anybody wants to attempt it?
Responsibility?
No, but it's a combination of responsibility and accuracy.
Credibility?
Credibility, that's correct. The answer is correct, Ed, credibility. So this is why you've heard the importance of being factual. It's to provide the information, to be a resource, to be confident, prompt, to the point, not speaking too long, being clear. So credibility on the radio as well as in the actions are very important. Number two, credibility provides what that can be most effective when dealing with the public? What does credibility project?
Trust.
Okay, Heather has it correct. It's confidence. You could say trust, but confidence is the idea, especially from the communications manual that you will see as part of one of the things that does come out. So confidence. So you want to sound confident, and the clarity and what you use and how you use it and so on is very key. Number three, two key factors that will help the watchstanders are so they're going to put you out there and they're not going to just give you the comm center. You're going to eventually go through PQSs and then you're going to do what? So one is, yes, knowledge. Good. So first you have to have, that's what the PQS itself is, validates that you are quote unquote tested. That's why there's a board. Also, if you were to be designated as a watchstander, not a TCO, mind you, we don't have a board system there. Okay. And then the next one is experience, actually. So it's not just watch and learn, experience. Yes, somebody just, I'm sorry. Walter, yes, that was the right answer. So experience and knowledge are the two things that hopefully through the process of the PQSs for the TCO, but beyond the TCO to become a watchstander is that whole process. Number four, the key to handling emotional conflict is to do what? So if we're conflicted by, okay, well, staying calm ultimately is so the first part actually is recognizing it before you actually let it pass and go on with the case. So it's recognizing it, admitting it is the answer. Yes, Mike, Pascal, you have it. Number five, watchstanders must deal with persons exhibiting a
Variety.
good job, Ed. Variety of emotions is the answer. So you should expect people to respond and reply. If you remember the video that we showed that Walter actually put it on the YouTube channel, you heard very different tones of voice. You saw different, not only intonations, you had one person saying, blaming the Coast Guard that if they don't do something, they'll have 5 deaths on their hands. You have other people saying it's just depending on the sequence of things, that's what's important. Number 6, how radio traffic is passed is what? Okay, crucial or critical is the right answer. Yes, Heather, good answer. The watchstander's voice represents the voice of
Coast Guard.
United States Coast Guard. That's right. Bill Garvey has it right. You are the voice of the Coast Guard. And so if you're replying as such, they will recognize you as such. A watchstander must take
Control.
of the conversation. Control. Good job, Don. Absolutely. Control of the conversation, which is how Walter did even on the net. He actually regained control of the conversation. So that's the answer to the quiz. There is, by the way, and this is the part, we will not do this tonight, but you have actually a fairly large quiz on page 27 and 28. It's 48 items. So I will leave it to the actual mentors to decide how they're going to handle that. But here's what I want you to do. We're going to be using a different feature to what we've used so far, and it's called the breakout room. The breakout room is something you will be invited to. So for purposes, actually, I will put you into that breakout room. So what's going to happen is I'm going to designate Walter to be in breakout room number 1, and I'm going to go through the list that I was given. And Walter, if you could just let me know if I am in fact correct. I have Mike Young will have Ed Gerhardt, Don Galapis, John Frasanito, and Brad Kerr. Is that correct? Do you concur?
That's it.
If you're asking me, David, yes, that's the list that.
That's what you have. Okay, well, I'm going to go by the list that I have, and I will assign. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and open up 4 breakout rooms. I'm going to put Walter in the first breakout room. Mike Young, you will be designated as breakout room number 2. Susan, you're going to be breakout room number 3. And I will be breakout room number 4. So what's going to happen is I'm going to open them up. I'm going to move you to your designated breakout room. And then in there, then what happens is that nobody else will be in it. But what you need to do, just to be clear, is you need to accept the invitation to move to your breakout room. I hope everybody understands what I mean by this. So I am physically assigning you to it, but you have to accept the move. And then when we are ready to come back, this will give you 5 or 7 minutes for the mentors to just talk a little bit about next step, what their plans are, what they plan on doing. And then eventually I will then call out a, hey, everybody, we're done. And you will have up to 60 seconds to come back, and it will give you a warning. You have 60 seconds, and then it just tells you that you have to finish the conversation. If you have any questions about this process, please type it in the chat room now before I actually start this. Okay, so as I said, I have 4 breakout rooms. I will create them. All right, and as I said, okay, so Walter Runck, sorry, I gotta take the time. Nick is not online. Chad Roger is here, and Joseph Greenleaf is. So, okay. You should have breakout room. You should have actually been asked to join your room, so you can go ahead and then go there and have a conversation. And again, 7 minutes, you'll be given a warning. Mike Young.
David, I did not receive that yet.
Nor have I. This is Bill.
Okay, but you're not been, hold on. Walter has been, I've only done room 1, folks. Give me a second.
Yeah, but Walter didn't get it either.
Oh, hold on. I got to assign it. Okay, I have to open up the rooms. Give me a second then. Sorry. John Frass, Mike Young, Don Galapis.
Wait, Walter, the Mount Pleasant police just walked into where?
My house.
Is it a tall, good-looking young man?
He's sitting there on the couch with a calzone. And he brought one for me. It was very nice.
That was kind of him.
Yeah, I did ask him about doing something over at Lowe's. I think the Lowe's store itself is still open.
Yes.
So there will be people in the parking lot, and we can separate ourselves and not be the only ones there. I do think it should be a uniform event, ODU.
Okay.
Okay, hold on.
So you people don't forget how to roll your sleeves.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, and Mike Young. Okay. All right, I'm opening up the rooms, folks. You should have by now received a notification.
Okie dokie.
All right, Bill and John, how we doing?
Fine. How are you, David?
I must have screwed up. So hold on, I'm coming back because oh no, here he is. Okay, yes. All right, folks. Sorry, my camera doesn't work for some other reason, so I'm having some update issues. But so the plan is, you hear me, John Swank? Nope, your speaker is off. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
I said, I'm sorry, my camera does work. So
That's right. Okay,
Good,
so
David. Your picture looks good.
what is it, Will?
Your picture looks good.
Thanks.
Screen, yeah.
All right, folks. So we're gonna do this is we're still trying to answer the question of whether we can actually meet up. We are not gonna do it as a whole group or class of 16 people, but we'll do it as a group of us. So Bill Garvey and John Swink, just confirming. John, you have a radio? Portable?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Bill?
No, I do not.
Okay, so I have an extra one, and in regards to William, he's actually has to leave by Monday for a long-term assignment, so I will work with him individually. So our plan is to have you all finishing up that quiz, and then we could set up a time, and William, you tell us, you tell us what you want to do from the destination where you at. If we could all meet up in a I don't know if you have security issues, but if we could possibly meet up with you and then do the quiz as a whole group of 5, because there will be somebody's missing from our group today. We'll be a 4 mentees and then me. Does it make sense?
Mhm. David, is this the quiz on 27 and 28? Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. So Will Smith, you'll tell us, what your requirements or what your expectations might be as far as limitations, if you have any, at the plant.
Okay.
Okay. So, and it's up to you. So if you want to do it, then say, no, I don't want to be bothered with it. I have other things to do. Then that's fine. And I'll work with the other group and I'll do yours individually. But we'll find a time, hopefully sometime next week at some point, to just go over it. So this quiz is really a nice way of just kind of like making sure you poke at and review your notes and possibly. So it's not about getting a perfection. I'm not going to be testing you per se. I just want to make sure that you can understand and find the answers potentially to these questions. So they are technically in all the reference manuals. Go ahead. Was somebody talking? Nope. Okay. So
David, I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have a wealth of texts and manuals and what have you, but I'm not sure I've got the right ones. I've got telecommunications quality standards. I've got specialty course communication. I've got watch standard quals, AOR study guide, but I see many references to AUX operations policy manual, boat crew seamanship manual, telecommunications manual. Should I be having all of those too?
Not really, Bill. Just try to answer those questions by yourself, meaning with all the knowledge that was transferred, and then poke around, maybe type into a browser the question without the answer, and then do your best, and then do a guess, and then we'll work together Does it make sense? To try to find, so you'll find very quickly. So this is not meant to be, hey, go out there and find, and there's like 7,000 pages worth of manuals worth of stuff to do. This is in no way, form, or shape. It's just that, like Susan described to you, I won't even sit down and say, please open up the book and please show me exactly where would you find this. Like we might do it as a round robin. Does that make sense? Eventually, when we're ready for the full final sign off. But this is not if you were all planning on actually going to become watch standards, actual physical watch standards at station or at sector, I will tell you that you better be more knowledgeable than just being dangerous. You're really gonna have to show that. But here, the purpose of this is to incite you to understand the process, to see how communication really does interact and work. And so that when you are in a facility, obviously, Bill, you're on the radio when you actually are on an airplane. So that's one. But still, when you're going on a boat, to really understand in the context so that we're all better, fit into the communication models of the Coast Guard when we're on the surface operation.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Thank you.
However, I do want to say one thing that Walter may not have emphasized. You may all be called as to become TCOs to possibly help supplement Rescue 21 in the event that of a system shut down. We might actually be deployed on the coast with a handheld where we actually have to monitor and see if in fact somebody is calling for help. Okay?
Yep, thank you.
So the plan, as I said, is I will send it out to you. I want to finish up the book itself, the quiz, and then after that, we'll make a plan, maybe the week after next, to meet up at a hall, Lowe's or something like that, and we can sit down without being in direct contact with one another, and we can play with the radios themselves. Okay?
So do you want us?
Go ahead.
This is Bill. Do you want us to, I don't know, email you the answers to the quiz or just bring the answers with us?
Yep, we will do this as a Zoom session as a group of 5 or 4 before that. So don't worry.
Okay.
I'll set up a time that's convenient for everybody. That work?
Yep.
That works.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and call off the meeting to go back. So I'm going to end the breakout room and call everybody else, okay? Tony Walters keeping his students behind for longer.
That's because he was eating a calzone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, guys. For the Tennessee people, I bet you're getting a lot of wind over there right now. Lots of wind.
Last night.
Yeah, I have a place over at Banner Elk, and they were predicting heavy winds.
Oh yeah, I know that. My grandfather mountain, the Highland Games.
Yes. Oh yeah, my late husband was a bagpiper.
Oh yes, I go up every year.
Yeah. I'm assuming they're going to cancel them. I haven't heard anything. Have you?
They're still holding fast. One of the main guys lives down in Columbia, so yeah, I've been kind of probing to see if he can give me any insight. Just holding fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that. I'm a McNeil, so there are lots of McNeils and then there are Woods over there.
Oh yes, my family's the Stewarts.
Okay.
From Western North Carolina.
I do have from East Tennessee, I do have Scottish and Welsh people, the Roberts, came from Saudi, Tennessee,
Yeah,
part of my family.
down near
So-
Chattanooga.
Yeah. And Tom's people came from Rogersville. Do you know where that is?
My family settled it. My family founded it.
Well, Tom's family was there too. I don't know if that was the Barretts or the Roberts or who that was. But we
Well,
married
send me
late
their
in
name.
life. What?
If you want to send me any names of ancestors, I can run up to the cemeteries for y'all.
He actually
get
went there
you-
one time and went to the courthouse, and they gave him to look at his parents' marriage license, grandparents' marriage license. I
Oh,
thought
yes.
that was neat.
All right,
Well, listen,
Walter, are you back?
Maybe he just went away, David.
Yeah, I'm back. I've been back.
No, he's
Okay.
there. He's been watching.
All right, all right. All right, folks,
Okay.
so
See y'all here.
Thank you very much, David, for everything.
no problem. I just want to make sure that we reiterate, you will be getting some information. I think Walter had sent an email out to everybody. We'll eventually need as part of the PQS is your answers to the couple of quizzes. The one that we did a couple of nights ago, the one we finished today.
Okay.
The 48 question quiz is the one that you'll be working with your mentees. Those will still need also to be filled in. Those pages will have to actually be not printed. You can actually hopefully answer them, maybe print them and so forth, and we can possibly take pictures next time we meet. So we will follow guidelines by the Coast Guard, which is 6 feet apart. Hopefully for some of you is wearing a mask in uniform. There will be an expectation that if you're going to be practicing, your mentor will be in touch with you with a location or a place that's safe with some clear indication. And
Right.
hopefully you'll have some kind of a mask or some covering to just follow the current guidelines, because we are at that point, although with the voice of the Coast Guard on the radio, the guidelines is that if we're engaged, so it is technically within confined space, less than 6 feet, but it would be good for us to just demonstrate it to the community.
David,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
question. I guess our group is going to try to use Zoom. I know that the free application only lasts 40 minutes, so we'll probably have to do several sessions, which is fine. I was also going to find out if we're doing the practice on the parking lot for comms.
Yep. So you could choose. I think, Walter, you've confirmed, is that correct, that the Lowe's parking lot is the best place?
I just think it's central and it would be good. To back up for a second, though, I did not send the quiz pages to everybody. I just sent those to my 4 guys. So
Okay.
the other mentors have to make their own arrangements to get that done. All I did was the Mountain Men and Ramsey and Feliciano.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Walter.
Hey, you got your own mentor. I don't need to take shit from you.
Behave now.
All
Okay.
right.
Well,
So-
I've got mine straight because they all live very close to me, so it's no problem for me at all.
Very good. Well, everybody, thank you for your commitment to working. Thank you, Walter, for the coordinated effort, as well as getting us Morgan as our guest speaker. I think this was very valuable.
Yes, I do too.
All a great evening and a safe and continued good health. So signing off, everybody.
Okay,
you.
I'm
All right,
signing
take
off
care.
too.
Thank you all.
You.
Yeah,
Bye now.
take care.